here with you. I'm going to be getting into the path to marriage, because whatever content you consume online, or advice you get, or your shared understanding of the world, it's like some people want to say, like, on the whole red pill world, like Fresh and Fit, they want to say that, and if you haven't seen the show, it's really important to get a feeling for it, look into it. But the thing is, some people want to say that the most efficient route is to hold on here, switching lanes. Alright, we're rolling. We're in the fast lane. Some people are going to want to say that you have to try before you buy, quote unquote. You have to go on dates with people, and you have to, not commit to them for at least a year or whatever it may be, and that you shouldn't tell them right away about, like, how much money you earn and all kinds of stuff like that. So the first, and that people need to go on dates, like, it's a question of efficiency, and it's also a question of position. A lot of people will talk and speculate about relationships, but they're not, the term itself, relationship, or boyfriend, girlfriend, or partner, or significant other, or, they're not committed terms, they're half-hearted terms. And so the term, your spouse, you want to get married, that's a real thing. There's also contention about marriage itself, because it gives women the power to leave. People should think of marriage as something that you're not, there's no way out. Not because, it might end up failing, but you shouldn't approach it like you should study it a lot. Okay, so that's the first thing. It should be studied a lot, because it's like it's the biggest decision of your life. Wouldn't you agree? And anyone who says that I'm not in a position to talk about marriage because I'm not married, that's like saying that I'm not in a position to talk about how to, that's like saying that I can't learn from other people's mistakes. Alright, so number one, you want to determine with yourself, are you ready for marriage? And if you're not, fine. Now, are you ready for marriage? And if you are, then is the person that you're approaching also ready for marriage? you even talk to someone, you should be able to look at them, qualify them to see if they at least look like somebody you would want to marry. Would you want to give sex to them? Do you like their skin color? Do you like their level of hygiene and exercise? And people can get fooled by, you know, maybe an attractive looking body or face. So don't be fooled by that. So you look at someone, you know, and then if you want to find out if they're ready for marriage, then you well, you first want to say, you know, how are you? Are you interested in, you know, whatever your core interests are, or your core values? Like, are you interested in, you know, a certain religion? And if some people have never heard about things before, like, for example, some people may have never considered veganism. Let's say there's a woman who seems interesting, and I could ask her, you know, have you considered veganism before? Because if people have already considered something, then they're not interested in it, then fine. So you look at a person and you ask them, you know, and then so in the name of efficiency, right? Because here's the thing, and here's another thing. You don't want to be the last thing you want to do is be talking to someone, and then it's like the first person you ever talk to with interest in marriage. That should be made clear up front too. Like, what's your goals in life? Are you seeking a husband or wife? And another so it's all these little tricks to you, and you want to use disqualifiers. Like, you should quickly, you know, it's useful to disqualify, because obviously you're going against biology. Biology would just want you to have sex with someone for the sake of propagation of the species. But you need to quickly find things that disqualify a person. Like anything from their diet to the way their voice sounds. And you got to understand something, like, people, if you're choosing someone for marriage or to have a child with, it's going to be a different consciousness than if you're only choosing a person to have sex with. Obviously, you'd find many people physically sexually attractive, but the question is, who do you who do you want spirit on a soul level? And by soul level, I mean a level unaffected by your sexual desires. That's why everyday self-intimacy, sex with yourself, is going to be a prerequisite to actually thinking clearly, having the clarity and discernment. Now you want to the scientist. So again, the last thing you want is to not use your initial judgment and discernment before even talking with someone, and one person or even other people, but they're not, it becomes first like select round of choice selections. Like you know, you end up like 5-10 people you've already invested time or money or attachment to, and yet they don't, you know, and then your actual spouse becomes like a second, or, you know, a second or fourth or 10th choice. So you don't want that. What you want is, you want to feel like you know what you're doing. Very achievable. You do that by deciding, hey, you know, I know who I am, I know who I want to be, and then the mindset behind that. So once you've figured all that out, like you kind of check those boxes off, and you should have a checklist of your qualifiers and disqualifiers, things that a person must have and they must not be. And you might think that that's not fair, or it's selfish, but really feel good about it. Feel good about being unique. And having preferences. You know, everyone has a right to have preferences. Now, are they realistic? Well, that's for the individual to discern. I believe in this concept of not only death do us part, but I believe a man should help his wife humanely let go of her body through a ceremonial process involving hallucinogens and out of the body visualizations of seeing that you're not your body, and that it's not, and that the body's not working for you, and it's okay to let go and get a new healthy body. And then the man do the same himself. So a whole life should be pre-planned out. It should be planned. All right, the goal is to have this many children. The goal is to have them have this type of education. The goal is to spend money in this way. The goal is to spend extra, spare money and spare time in this way. Like, there should be a life plan. If there's no goal, then people will take your time and your money, and you'll have conflicts because you're disagreeing on goals. You have to, this can be great, but only if it's played out in a scientific and if it's intellectualized. And also seeking help for discernment, right? So, and that's only that's only all the before everything. Now moving into the next part is going to involve like looking at talking to each other online, having honest communication. I would think that it should only last maybe like 2 weeks. Like, you can just figure out everything about each other, and before you you should want to be friends with, or like spiritual siblings with someone before marrying them. And then yeah, the actual time emailing, you could talk about your personal details, like your body, sexual preferences, financial matters. You can discuss all these via email. Email is much more platonic than obviously a date or perhaps a phone conversation. With email, or maybe video, as long as it's not in person. All right, I'm gonna hop off, guys. AC on blast, boy. AC, thank you for the playfulness. I don't see why you're questioning my talking about marriage, because it's really a question of, are you interested in marriage? You know what I mean? Like, and it's okay if you're not, but if you are and you think you know something to add to the conversation, I'd be inspired to hear. But I gotta jump off. I'm heading to work. I'm doing a tile job today. It's gonna be fun. But yeah, aloha to you guys, and take care, AC. Oh, be sure to check out my newest TikTok. It's so fun. I got a lot of interaction on it. Team Shieldheart TikTok. All right, guys.